2023 meeting of the Franklin Town Council to order. Please pause for a moment of silence. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Announcements from the chair. All citizens are now welcome to attend public board and committee meetings in person. Meetings are live streamed by Franklin TV and shown on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 29. In an effort to maximize citizen engagement opportunities, citizens will be able to continue to participate remotely via phone, or you may click the Zoom link that is on the posted agenda and on the town's website. The phone number is 929-205-6099, and the Zoom ID is 810-7143-0965. Then you need to hit the pound sign. Once again, the ID is 810-7143-0965, pound. If residents are just interested in watching the meeting, it will also be live streamed by Franklin TV. Upcoming events, tomorrow the Town Council has office hours tomorrow morning, December 21st from 8:30 to 9:30 at the Senior Center. And second upcoming event is On the Tracks, is a exhibit currently being displayed at the Franklin Historical Museum, constructed by Historical Commission member Scott Mason. The Franklin Historical Museum presents an HO scale model of 1932 Franklin, in addition to last year's model of the train station and coal house. This year's exciting addition recreates the Thompson Press Building and New Haven Locomotive Roundhouse further east down the tracks. The exhibit will be on display at Franklin Historical Museum Saturdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and Sundays from 1 p.m. To 4 p.m. through January 14th. Moving on, next item on the agenda, citizens' comments. Citizens are welcome to express their views for up to 3 minutes on a matter that is not on the agenda. The council will not engage in a dialogue or comment on a matter raised during citizens' comments. The town council will give remarks appropriate consideration and may ask the town administrator to review the matter. Is there anyone in council chambers that would like to speak on an item not on tonight's agenda? I thought you were going to be a no-show tonight. No. Free meal, I know. Go ahead.
There you go. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Brutus Cannareggi, Public Works Director. If folks haven't heard, we had to close the bridge at the end of Elm Street going into Medway. It's a Mass DOT requirement. In layman's terms, it's a really old bridge. It's a phone ringing. My son. Anyways, it's an old stone bridge, and based because of the volume of the water going under it, they monitor it and potentially be some scouring under it. It's been on our radar screen for a long time. Chances are the dive team's going to come out and check it out a couple weeks. It'll probably be reopened. That bridge is going to last all bridges. It's a very well-made bridge.
Was it a 76 or a 79?
79.
I had a 76.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brutus. Is there anyone else in council chambers that would like to speak on an item not on tonight's agenda? Please, just name and address, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Maureen Sullivan, resident at 871 King Street with an easement onto Washington. Also the owner of 553, which is 2 lots at the corner of King and Washington. I was here the Wednesday before the election. I was quite serious, but told no one thought that I was serious when I came here to a meeting, which I really don't have a lot of time to get all dressed up and do my hair like this every week. So I would like to kind of end this, but this financial way is still and will always be, for the time that I own the property at 553, an absolute no-go to take down that digital building and put in up to 400 more trucks a day. Is this a serious thing? Does this town really think that these roads can handle that? My personal driveway at 871 King Street has completely sunken in. I started to build that home 27 years ago when the Jefferson Remington School was being put into place, and they came in and tried to widen the streets and add sidewalks, and they took what was an absolute gully from the street, straight down, I don't know how many feet, and filled it in with nothing but garbage. The house at 861 Washington Street, previously owned by an Anthony Martello and Catherine Goddard, had such a sinkhole in the front of it. Everyone kept saying, your brother buried tree stumps, your brother buried tree stumps. He did not. If you look at that road from where the wall is, straight down the street, it has completely caved into a V. My cement, and it is not hot top, it is cement that cost me quite a lot of money to put that driveway in, has cracked. It has given cars in the driveway flats. It's so sharp. If you continue down the street, I'm not going to waste my whole 3 minutes on everybody that's had the damage, but not naming names, everyone across the street has either a cracked septic tank in the last 3 years. Since Corona, with all this heavy traffic that's now up, the road is being destroyed. It cannot handle not only the 200 and some odd trucks. At that planning board meeting, they said there were 200 to 300 trucks a day coming in and out of there. There's way more than 200. It's more like 300. They're going to add an additional 320 to 400 more trucks a day. Where is that all going to go? They cannot fit around the corner as it is. You can take any sensor, any kind of light, any sort of island, remove it, put a new one in, put up signs that bend over and flip back up. Nothing is gonna widen that street. Those trucks go around that corner and they hit the telephone pole all the time. They each and every time hit the sidewalk on that side. All the rubber's scraping off their tires. There's junk all over the streets. It's an absolute mess. Now, my driveway is at 553. There are 2. One is a residential on Washington Street on the side heading towards Woonsocket. That cannot be exited unless that blinking light is on in a safe and timely fashion. Now, I do an awful lot of driving around, and I am caretaker in the absolute only soul that Miss Mary Jane Coughlin has to represent her and take her to where she needs to go, and it cannot be done at her best health and interest because of the danger of getting her out of that driveway. Now, on the other side is the restaurant. It is what it is. Why even bother going there? And there was a lot of talk about this, if they came in and took the sidewalk out. You're not taking the sidewalk out. There's 2 schools there. You're just not doing it. If they took the sidewalk out, though, then they said that would hurt me by the steep. Every single reason why that driveway is the steepness that it is all due to Barringer's, Cole's Tavern, Timmy Jones, Tavern Pub, or Franklin Pub. Nobody seems to know there, but
I need you to finish
do.
up, Maureen.
Listen,
You're way
I
over
have
the-
3 residences that I own, so I get 3 minutes each.
No, you don't.
So,
You get
hey,
3
all right,
minutes.
listen,
And your
There's
3
just
minutes
so
are up.
much
Finish
there.
your statement.
Okay, well, let me get this in. The day of that meeting that I said, I'm going to the meeting tonight, that Mr. Rondo got a phone call, his phone records will show that he got a call and said, shut her down. I was shut down. Miss Love, Amy Love, that ran the meeting, she was confused, why are you putting traffic off? I was pushed aside and I wasn't heard of, and I came here and I told this entire council that I said that is a no-go. No one's talked about the building coming down, the health issues with that. What are we supposed to breathe in? Just their fumes from 600 trucks a day? It just can't be done. And these Kimball trucks, where are they going at 1 o'clock at night? That they're bringing heavy gravel that is shaking the entire street. Now, there is an officer or officers
Maureen,
that
I've got to
came-
shut you down. You've gone 5 minutes.
Well, then I'll be back next week,
Okay.
or whenever you come back from Christmas.
Okay.
This is not ended.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in council chambers that would like to speak on an item not on tonight's agenda? Is there anyone out there in Zoom land that would like to speak on an item not on tonight's agenda? I don't see anyone near me, do you? Okay, moving on. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes from November 1st, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion, additions, deletions. Seeing none, the vote will come on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'd now entertain a motion to approve the minutes from November 15th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion, additions, deletions. Seeing none, the vote will come on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Lastly, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes from November 21st, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion. Additions, deletions? Seeing none, the vote will come on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on. Next item on the agenda is proclamations and recognitions. We do have one this evening for William Ken Norman, and I would ask Chris Feely to come forward and read the proclamation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Town of Franklin, proclamation honoring William Ken Norman on 16 years of dedicated service to the Town of Franklin Board of Assessors. Whereas William Ken Norman has been elected assessor for the Town of Franklin for 4 consecutive 4-year terms beginning in November of 2007, and for 16 years has faithfully served as a valued and impactful member of the board. And whereas, since 1997, William Ken Norman has been actively involved in the community, generously giving of his time to serve on several committees in addition to his service on the Board of Assessors, including membership on the Finance Committee for 11 years, the Senior Center Building Committee, the Central Fire Station Building Committee, the King Street Fire Station Building Committee, and he's currently a member of both Community Cable Access, of which he's been a member for 11 years, and the Council on Aging, of which he has been a member for 10 years. And whereas in November of 2023, William Ken Norman completed his final term on the Board of Assessors after 16 years of tremendous contribution and dedication. Now therefore be it known, William Ken Norman is hereby commended and recognized by the Franklin Town Council of the Town of Franklin on 16 years of faithful service as an elected member of the Board of Assessors. Signed by the Chairman, Tom Mercer.
Thank you, Ken. And thanks, Chris. Okay,
Oh, no, this is Jeff. Jeff did Jeff.
no. Jeff, he's waiting.
Hey, look at,
Representative Roy,
I wait patiently.
you do wait patiently.
Well, I want to thank you, and Chris, great warm-up, I appreciate it. But Ken, I have here a set of resolutions from the Massachusetts House of Representatives. I gave you a citation a couple weeks ago, but this is the cream of the crop. This will definitely get you some help with the police officers in the back there if you are traveling a little too fast on the Franklin Road. So just pull this out and please. Yeah, please don't. Please don't. But resolutions are significant because they actually do require a vote on the floor of the House of Representatives. And I want you to know that that vote took place on December 11th of 2023. And yes, it was unanimous, so congratulations. But let me read it to you. Congratulating and honoring William Ken Norman on his years of appointed volunteer service to the town of Franklin, and I think you'll all be grateful that the wording is not exactly what you just heard from Chris, but some of it does deserve being repeated. Whereas on Wednesday, December 20, 2023, William Ken Norman is being honored for his years of dedicated volunteer service to the town of Franklin, Massachusetts. And whereas William Ken Norman is recognized for his distinguished volunteer appointments through the years as elected assessor from 2007 to 2023, Franklin Community Cable Access from 2012 to the present, Council on Aging from 2013 to the present, Senior Center Building Committee in 2014, Central Fire Station Building Committee in 2008. You had a lot of free nights. The Finance Committee from 1997 to 2008, King Street Fire Station Building Committee in 1999, Franklin Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts Committee Chair, Franklin Music Boosters, and Friends of the Franklin Library. And whereas William Ken Norman is the loving husband to Janet and proud father of his two sons, Chris and Peter. Therefore, be it resolved that the members of the Massachusetts House of Representatives hereby join with family and friends in paying honor and tribute to William Ken Norman and extend to him their sincere congratulations and gratitude on his volunteer achievements to the town of Franklin, Massachusetts. And be it further resolved that a copy of these resolutions be forwarded by the Clerk of the House of Representatives to William Ken Norman, adopted December 11th, 2023, signed by Ronald Mariano, the Speaker of the House, Stephen T. James, the Clerk of the House, and myself, whose great honor it is to be your state representative. And I enjoyed all of our years of service working together on so many great causes for the community. And it's my great honor to present you with these resolutions as instructed by the Clerk of the House. So Ken, congratulations and thank you for your service.
Okay, moving on. We have no appointments this evening, no public hearing, license transactions. We do have the our annual 2024 annual alcohol license renewals. Clerk will read the renewals.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm first going to read all of the 2024 Town of Franklin alcohol license renewal names. I will not be reading the license number. License name, 660 Central Street LLC, doing business as Mobile at 660 West Central Street. 99 Restaurants of Boston, doing business as 99 at 847 A West Central Street. Act Hospitality, box seats. at
Motion to waive the reading.
Second.
No, you
I
can't.
can't.
Can't
Have
wait
we-
to read.
Yep.
All right, this is the one.
Try that on
This
another
is the
couple
one we
Phil
have to
copies.
read,
One thing I have to
unfortunately.
It's a long list.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It is a long list. I had a feeling you were going to say that, Mark. Act Hospitality Incorporated, doing business as Box Seats, 391 East Central Street. Ash Deep Incorporated, Union Street Wines and Liquors at 317 Union Street. Avocado at Acapulco's, 371 Union Street. Chang Shen Incorporated, Hang Tai Restaurant, 2630 East Central Street. Contractor and Sons at Lincoln Street Market, 465 Lincoln Street. Dean College, 135 Emmett Street. DeVita's Market, 198 East Central Street. Barmabuka Corporation, Liquor World, 365 West Central Street. Flowers Market at 20 West Central Street. Franklin Brewing Company, 67 Degrees, 158 Grove Street. Franklin Country Club at 672 East Central Street. Franklin Liquors Incorporated at 333 East Central Street. Franklin Lodge, 2136 Benevolent Protective Order of Elks, at 1077 Pond Street. Franklin Performing Arts Company at 515 West Central Street. Franklin Shed LLC at 342 East Central Street. Glen Farmer Distillery LLC at 860 West Central Street. Jahu Group, the Curry House at 418 West Central Street. JC Idigo Ichis at 837 West Central Street. Jimmy D's, doing business as Jimmy D's at 338 Union Street. La Cantina Winery and Brewery Company, 355, 357 Union Street. Let's Eat Franklin has 3 restaurant, 461 West Central Street. Mad Deli, Dacey's Market and Deli at 353 Lincoln Street. Max Roast Beef and Breakfast at 451 West Central Street. Maplegate Country Club at 160 Maple Gate Road in Bellingham. Marlboro Food Incorporated, 711 stores, store number 37380B at 664 Union Street. Mormax Beverages Incorporated, doing business as BJ's Wholesale Club at 100 Corporate Drive. Endio Enterprises LLC, Poor Richard's Wine and Spirits at 835 West Central Street. Nep Ops Tea LLC, doing business as Residence Inn at Marriott Franklin at 4 Forge Parkway. PH Franklin Incorporated, the Real Republic House at 280 Franklin Village Drive. Proof Restaurant LLC, doing business as Proof, 486 West Central Street. Rare Hospitalities International, that's a Longhorn Steakhouse at 250 Franklin Village Drive. Rome Restaurant, 4 East Central Street. Santa Fe Burrito at 28 West Central Street. Shaw's Supermarket at 255 East Central Street. Super HK LLC, doing business as Magoo House at 29 East Central Street. Table and Vine at 348 East Central Street. Teddy Gallagher's LLC at 30 Main Street. The Chateau Restaurant in Franklin at 466 King Street. Little Shop of Olive Oils Incorporated at 5 Main Street. There's more. Tin Thai Food Incorporated, Pepper Terrace Restaurant, 400 Franklin Village Drive. Village Mall Liquors at 60 Franklin Village Drive. And Wind Top Acres at Birchwood Bakery at 17 East Central Street. And finally, Zhujing Incorporated, doing business as Bamboo House at 2 Main Street. So all the establishments, but 8 have passed inspections by the Building Department, Board of Health, and Fire Department. We have noted those establishments as well as those establishments that have fees or taxes due to the town. This is a motion to approve the renewal of alcoholic beverages licenses listed on the attached renewal list for the year of 2024, with the issuance of licenses that have inspections, fees, or taxes outstanding to be withheld, physically held in the town administrator's office until all items are resolved.
Second. Motion and a second. Discussion, Jamie?
I think Clerk Jones summarized it all very well.
And just for the record, Mr. Chairman, those licenses have been signed already.
Any questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, the vote will come on the motion to approve the 2024 annual alcohol license renewals that were just read by the clerk. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next item on the agenda is presentation discussions. We don't have any this evening. The next item would be legislation for action. Resolution 23-58, I'm sorry, Resolution 23-71, Town Council approval of county ARPA funds. Clerk will read the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Resolution 23-71, Town Council approval of American Rescue Plan Act funds, or ARPA funds. The Franklin Town Council, on behalf of the Town of Franklin, hereby accepts the receipt of ARPA funds from and/or through the Norfolk County of Massachusetts, approves the expenditure of funds for the below-listed purposes, and authorizes the town administrator to execute any and all documents and/or to take any and all action required for town to receive said funds. Mental Health Clinician Pilot Program, $559,000. Sewer Capital Project, $500,000. Franklin Food Pantry, $100,000. The Safe Coalition, $100,000. And the YMCA Vernon Family Branch, $100,000, for a total of $1,359,000. This resolution shall become effective according to the provisions of the Town of Franklin Home Rule Charter.
Move resolution 23-71.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion. Jamie?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chairman. So as the memo for folks watching at home, they can go online into the packet and read a little deeper. But Councilor Jones just listed the amounts requested. As everybody remembers, for the council, the county money is required to go through you to them to apply, and the amounts here are listed are $559,000 for a third mental health clinician for the police department, and then also those funds we have to allocate them and contract them before the end of this year. And then we can still spend the money for the next 3 years. So this will fund those 3 clinicians and their expenses for 2024, 2025, and 2026 calendar years. And as we've talked to many times at these meetings, approximately 1/3 of all calls received by the police department for calls for service are mental health related. Right. So Callie and Sonia are in the back. Over here, there'll be a third person added to the staff. Wait, they waved. And you know, we're trying to essentially do a paradigm shift here and try to take advantage of the federal stimulus money to look over the next 3 years to see if this model can try to connect people to services, reduce calls for service, which allows the police to be available for things like major storms the other night, you know, and a variety of other things. So. You know, we're very thankful to the chief, as well as Callie and Sonia and everybody else for their support. And, you know, we have high aspirations that hopefully this will work out really well. $500,000 for sewer improvements. And just for the record, we have not spent any ARPA money yet in the last couple of years on sewer. So this will at least take some of the capital requests that the taxpayers, ratepayers rather, don't have to fund these projects, and then also $100,000 each for the Franklin Food Pantry, the Safe Coalition, and the YMCA. You know, I hope I don't really need to speak very much about that. I think all of you are very familiar with their incredible efforts on a myriad of things, but as we have seen, and I think you are all aware, you know, obviously the demand for their services has increased a tremendous amount. Since the pandemic. All of those organizations are still seeing a rise in demand and service, and you know, hopefully these monies can go a little bit toward that. We know it can't fund everything, but hopefully these monies can go to supporting those organizations who are doing heroic work, I think, as all of you know, throughout the community day in and day out. So, and just to close out, at the end of the memo, this is it. The federal money's gone after this, and I know we've talked about this, and we'll bring it up back at the budget meetings in the spring. The schools are also in the same situation, so you know, really proud of everybody for putting this together, and just want to thank Amy a lot for working with those 3 organizations within the last month to be able to turn this around. A lot of work behind the scenes with the county to make sure the uses are approved before we apply. There's some contractual issues, working with the town attorney and the purchasing agent, a lot of other work, and just very thankful for Amy for taking this off my plate over the last month. I'm not sure this would have been able to be ready by tonight if it wasn't for her work. So just want to thank everybody for their support and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jamie. Questions or comments from the council? Councilor Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First off, I am 100% in agreement to the expenditure of this money for these purposes. First, they were just, the organizations and the groups listed here do so much for our community, and the impact it will have to help out the individuals in need is going to go a long way. And I just want to say thank you to the health clinicians as well as the Franklin Food Pantry, Safe Coalition, and Scott from the YMCA for your organization's efforts towards helping our community. We wouldn't be the community we are without you guys, and I personally want to thank you. I know it's a team effort, but you guys are the spokespeople for those organizations, and please let everyone know they're doing such a great job. I know there's a challenge ahead of us for 2024, but I want to thank you for all the hard work and effort that went into 2023. Together we can do anything. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Jones. Councilor Frangillo.
Yeah, I have a lot of kudos, although I guess I'd start with my question first, which would be, could you talk at a very high level to some of the restrictions around this money, around what this money could be used for?
So, through Mr. Chairman, so the good news is that, so most of these are obvious. They're, again, the county money is really highly restricted relative to the ARPA direct funds, which we can get to later if you want. And the window of availability is much less than all of the other funds. I think that's why we work with the county to make sure that when we apply for this, it's going to be able to be approved by the federal government and by them. I'm not sure exactly specifically where to draw the line in the sand of allowable uses, but public health is an allowable use under ARPA County. There were really only 5 uses under the county funds. Public health was obviously one of them. Well, maybe not obviously, but that was one. So all of these services for those 3 organizations, in fact, the mental health clinicians as well, all of those fall under that category of emergency services relative to public health. And that's where that category, when you file the application, that's the drop-down menu choice that you get. And just to, water, sewer, and stormwater, I think y'all are familiar with, was an allowable use. And there were a couple of other things. What was it? Broadband was an allowable use. I think that was something maybe more rural parts of the state were probably tapped into around the country. And that was really it. A lot of towns, like in Middlesex County, for example, they got their entire allotment and didn't have to go through the county process. So it's just the way the law was written. We benefited in the CARES Act, allocation where we didn't have any restrictions at that time. So the way the law was written was just kind of flip-flopped. And I think in some ways, this hasn't been able to allow Norfolk County communities to focus a little bit more. I will say, in my knowledge, and I'm unfamiliar with the many other towns, if any, in Norfolk County that have allocated this much money towards public health, particularly mental health. I can assure you that no other community is hiring this many mental health counselors to work with the PD. I think you all know where we all stand on this. Yep. Mental health related issues are really, the pandemic, if you will. I mean, that has been the biggest issue we have all seen. And I just feel like our staff and everybody were really unable. I couldn't really not try to figure out something on this issue with these funds. And, I'm just, thrilled. Hope that answers some of your question, Councilor Frangillo.
No, thank you. That was helpful. So I'll get to my kudos, because I think within the restrictions, what a list. And there are a few things that make me prouder about Franklin, especially as I talk to other communities, than how much we've led and continued to lead on incorporating mental health clinicians into our police department. And I'm really happy that we still have the support of both the department and town administration to continue to expand that program based on the success that we've seen. And then, I go back to obsession with maintenance. Like we know our capital projects are a massive list, and I think that over the next few decades, the communities that will come out strongest are those allocating serious funds toward maintaining infrastructure, sewer, water, and roads. And then, the organizations, there are a lot of services that, we don't have. We're not the size community. We don't have the budget in town yet to, do them as a community. But the fact that when there's an opening, that we can support the community groups that are providing those services around hunger, around public health, around housing, how great it is that we find this opportunity. If I could highlight, I had a cool opportunity with the migrants that have come to town. I think people expected a whole bunch worse, and a lot of communities have. And if you're wondering why, it's kind of been quiet and things, have been pretty smooth, it is due very much in large part to a whole bunch of work from a whole bunch of volunteers. I had the pleasure of helping sort through donations and just seeing. I mean, I knew of it, but to see it in person, I mean, how many donations poured in from the community. B, how many volunteers have stepped up and just filled shift after shift to sort those donations, and how the Interfaith Coalition, particularly Reverend Yunker in the Methodist Church, as well as the Safe Coalition, have gone in systematically and met with everyone, every migrant family in the hotel, learned exactly what their needs are for clothing and food, worked with all our community partners, and are doing individual bags to meet the needs of the migrants. I mean, it's an insane process that has come purely out of goodwill and good hearts and good volunteers in Franklin. So it was a really touching thing to see up front. Anyway, really happy with this list, and thank you for putting it together.
Thank you, Councilor Frangillo. Councilor Cormier Ledger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This question to the town administrator. Jamie, in the bottom of your memo, it talks about ARPA direct funds. It talks about a $420,000 that's going to go toward some work over at the high school for the visitor side. I know we've allotted money to that project, so is this intended to be to augment that because maybe costs have gone up? I just want to understand a little bit of that.
Sure, that's a great question. So I don't want to get everybody confused, but ARPA Direct, thank you, Chris, for showing the quotes right as you right there. That was like perfect timing. Doesn't need county approval, and so therefore we just go through a regular process. So the two projects on here that are worth mentioning are the hotel motel tax money that we lost during the pandemic that we normally would have recouped are going to go towards rebuilding Barron Road, which I know you are all very aware of. So here's a great opportunity to do something that's a big project on our list, and just commend obviously Brutus and Mike Maglio and the staff for their commitment to that. But to your question about the high school visitor bleachers, we have not allocated any funds to that. The community, the council, those funds are not available. So this is literally the estimate we have gotten on what that project will cost. And, I'm very well aware, almost similar to Barron Road, we're all very aware of how much needed the visitor bleachers are to get fixed, and how much all of you hear about it, how much we hear about it, the school's advocating for it. So this is not due to a cost increase, but this is the estimated cost of what it will pay for to replace the visitor side bleachers at the high school.
Okay, thank you. And is it okay, Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
through you to address one of the nonprofits in town?
Sure.
Scott from the YMCA, would you mind just helping, especially for the public listening, how will the 400 teens that will receive these scholarships from your $100,000, what's that process look like?
What we're going to do is we're going to help recruit. We already have a good amount of teens that belong to Y members. What we want to do is expand that reach. We'll use social media. we'll use some of our other communication vehicles to let teens know in town that this is available to them. One of our strategies is if we can get them to become a member of the Y, then we can engage them in programming. That's going to help their physical fitness, their well-being, help them with some of the anxiety issues. So it's kind of a two-step process for us. If we can get them in as members, then we can start that dialogue with them. We can find a niche where they fit. And what we'd like to do with the ARPA funds is find, some kids will be into physical fitness, other kids may be into more of the socializations that we're looking for. And some of them may not fit in a nice, neat, tidy box, and that's where we'll use other kind of programming and activities. But once we're in there, we can engage them and find that right thing that they find their people, their community, and we'll have our trained staff then facilitate some discussions that can help them.
So is it the wise intention then that the money be put into a restricted fund, or is it going to your annual fund?
A restricted fund for this specific program, only for teens in Franklin, only between the ages of 13 to 17.
That's great, thank you, that's what I
You're
like
welcome.
to hear. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Cormier-Ledger. Councilor Chandler?
Just quickly, actually, that was an excellent question, Councilor Cormier-Ledger. That was one of my last ones, so thank you for already asking that. I just wanted to say, you know, this money also comes from a lot of misery that we all went through. So I'm thankful that we can use this to help the Safe Coalition, the food pantry, and it's nice to put faces to the two mental health clinicians. Thank you. I know you have your work cut out for you from a lot of stuff that happened during the pandemic, what this money's from. And just lastly, as Councilor Cormier-Ledger said, the teenagers, I think, got lost in the shuffle a lot more than anybody during this whole pandemic. So I'm really happy that we were able to give some money for that, and just hopefully they can use it for the mental health and just the socialization, because we know we've had to cut a lot of the school money. So the after-school programs that maybe some of these kids were doing aren't there, and this can pick up some of the slack. So thank you so much for that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Chandler. Councilor Hamblin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through the chair, I'd just like to thank Amy, I guess if it was Amy that put this list together. This is kind of a wish list of the things we wish we could do and take care of the community. And, you know, I just think this is wonderful. And I just wanted to say that, all of these things are near and dear to my heart, like all of these people that I know that work on these things. But I'm really excited. If you have to pick one that you really like the most, I guess, I don't know. But I'm really excited, as Councilor Chandler said, and Councilor Cormier-Ledger, about the 400 Franklin teens that are going to get to go to the Y. And I think that is going to make a huge difference. So I just want to thank everyone for all their work that they do to help us keep our community safe. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Hamblin. Any other councilors? As Jamie, in closing, I guess I'd just say, I'd like to thank the entire staff for all the work that went into making these difficult decisions that needed to be made, and make sure that they fell into the criteria that we were given to follow. So thank you, Amy and Jamie, and to the entire staff for putting this together. So seeing no further questions or comments, the vote will come on the motion to approve Resolution 23-71. A majority votes required. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bylaw Amendment 23-902, a bylaw to amend the code of the town of Franklin by inserting Chapter 147, Snow and Ice, removal of. This is the second reading. Clerk will read the bylaw amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Bylaw Amendment 23-902, Chapter 147, Snow and Ice Removal of, a bylaw to amend the code of the town of Franklin by inserting Chapter 147, Snow and Ice Removal of. Be it enacted by the Franklin Town Council that the code of the town of Franklin is amended by inserting a new Chapter 147, Snow and Ice Removal, as follows.
Motion to waive the reading.
Second.
Thank you.
I was waiting for him.
I was waiting for Kobe,
I was like,
but he wasn't looking in my direction. Okay, we have a motion and a second to waive the reading.
Move.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
All those in favor of waiving the reading signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Move bylaw amendment 23-903.
Second.
Motion and a second. Jamie, quick summary? 902.
Oh, I'm sorry, 902. My mistake.
Second.
Anything to add, Jamie?
No. Unless
Okay.
people have questions.
As we said, this is the second
Yeah.
reading. We went through this quite at length at our last meeting. So any questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, the vote will come on the motion to approve bylaw amendment 23-902. A majority roll call votes required. Clerk will call the roll.
Cormier Ledger.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Chandler.
Yes.
Rangillo.
Yes.
Pellegri.
Yes.
Hamblin.
Yes.
Jones. No. DeLarco.
No.
Chair.
Yes.
That's 7-2, sir.
Motion carries. Bylaw Amendment 23-903, a bylaw to amend the code of the Town of Franklin at Chapter 82, fees, municipal service, second reading. Clerk will read the bylaw amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is bylaw number 23-903, Chapter 82, fees, municipal service, a bylaw to amend the code of the Town of Franklin at Chapter 82, fees, municipal service. Be it enacted by the Franklin Town Council that Chapter 82 of the Code of Town of Franklin is amended at Section 82-6 Schedule of...
Motion to waive the reading?
Second.
It's one line.
It's really just one line.
Well, it's the second reading, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, there's a motion and a second to waive the reading. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Move bylaw amendment 23-903.
Second.
Motion and a second. Jamie, anything to add?
I think Brutus went through this at the last meeting, but just for folks at home, the mattress disposal fee is getting increased, for the reasons that Brutus stated last time. We're seeing a lot of other people from out of town contact their relatives, they're piling up, and if you were to get a private hauler to do it, it would be $75 to $100. The rate at $65 is actually a pretty good price.
Thank you, Jamie. Questions or comments from the council? Councilor Cormier Ledger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the town administrator, Jamie, since we talked about this at the last meeting, has there been any feedback at all? Any residents calling concerned about the fee? Any
I have
feedback
not
from-
received a phone call or any emails from anybody opposing it. I don't think we've gotten anything, have we? Yeah,
Okay, so pretty quiet.
yeah, pretty
Okay,
quiet.
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Cormier Ledger. Any other questions or comments from the council?
Just a quick question,
Councilor Jones.
Mr. Chairman. To Brutus, who may not have an answer. Has there been a significant rise in people leaving significantly large items like mattresses and box springs and other pieces of furniture at the side of the road?
Yep.
Yes. I see it.
I had a feeling I knew what your answer was.
He's feeling in the Christmas spirit right
I know. Bah,
Still a
humbug.
little tired.
It's just, how are we gonna educate these people that these options are available for them to bring it down to the recycling center instead of putting it on the side of the street?
I would make the assumption it's not educating those folks. They know what the hell they're doing. They throw it on the side of the road. It was funny, closing the bridge, there was one right next to the bridge up on Elm Street. When I drive up there, I'm like, yeah. I took it back with me, but, it's, yeah, those people doing that, and that's a constant thing. We Mel, you did about carpet the other day, someone throwing carpet in the wetlands and stuff like that, so. Yeah, they're not good residents. They're not nice people.
Well, I had a feeling that was the case. Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilor Jones. Councilor DeLarco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Brutus, I would also maybe think that it probably might not even be our residents.
Yeah.
It might be it might be somebody from out of town. That's what I think.
Especially on the bridge,
That was close.
where all the nip bottles are too.
Thank you, Councilor DeLorco. Any other questions or comments? Please name and address, please.
Oh, it's at the right height. My name is Maxwell Marangello. I live at 127 Central Park Terrace. I rise in support of the proposal. However, I cannot rest easy knowing how much the fee will disproportionately affect low-income Franklinites. I know it may not seem like a lot, but for residents like myself who are on SSI disability, the $65 fee is equivalent to an almost an entire 2 days' worth of income. Imagine 2 days' worth of your income gone, out the window. Luckily, Franklin's bylaws offer a solution to help folks with low income. It's called the Community Assistance Program. It's like that Progressive Lady Flow, but for poor people. Trash pickup discount, recreation department discount, ambulance billing hardship discount. These are all programs that the town currently discounts for people of low income. I urge the town to expand this program to provide discounts for mattress recycling and more of the town's numerous fees. It keeps me up at night knowing that low-income people in Franklin are struggling. Hopefully, by lowering the cost of mattress recycling and other fees, we can all rest easy. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Max. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, the vote will come on the motion to approve bylaw amendment 23-903. Again, a majority roll call votes required. Clerk will call the roll.
Sheridan?
Yes.
Cormier Ledger?
Yes.
Frangillo?
Yes.
Chandler?
Yes.
Hamblin?
Yes.
Pellegri?
Yes.
Jones, yes. Vice Chair?
Yes.
Chair?
Yes.
9-0, sir.
Motion carries. Resolution 23-73, revised 2024 Town Council meeting schedule. Clerk will read the resolution. I'm sorry.
Item D, Mr. Chairman. Davis Thayer reuse.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jumped the gun. Resolution 23-72, Davis Thayer Building Reuse Advisory Committee charge. Extension of committee terms and deadline to make final report. Clerk will read the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Resolution 23-72, the Davis Thayer Building Reuse Advisory Committee extension of committee terms and deadline to make a final report. Whereas on January 4th, 2023, by Resolution 2308, the Town Council established the Davis Thayer Building Reuse Advisory Committee to evaluate potential strategies and future uses of building and parcel land in which the building is located with terms of the committee and its members expiring December 31st, 2023, and a deadline to evaluate potential uses and make a final report to the Town Council by December 23rd, 2023. And the Town Council desires to extend those terms of the committee and its members to June 30th of 2024, and extend the deadline to make the final report to the Town Council to June 30th, 2024. Now, therefore, the Franklin Town Council hereby extends the terms of the Davis Thayer Building Reuse Advisory Committee and its members to June 30th, 2024, and extends the deadline to make its final report to the Town Council to June 30th, 2024. This resolution shall become effective according to the provisions of the Town of Franklin Home Rule Charter.
Move Resolution 23-72.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion, Jamie?
Very quickly, through Mr. Chairman, the committee has, I think, held about a half a dozen meetings so far, but the appraisal and the expression of interest are just far larger projects than anticipated, and so the committee's just looking for an extension through June so they can get those materials completed. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Questions or comments from the council? Councilor Pellegri?
Yes. Jamie explained it very well there. How is the appraisal coming? I mean, have you sent it out yet, or?
Through Mr. Chairman, they have to do a public procurement on it, so the procurement's being drafted right now. It should be out momentarily, and then we'll get bids in on the appraiser. Appraiser will be selected, and then they'll have to do the appraisal. So I would anticipate probably a couple more months for the appraisal to be done. Yeah. I mean, that's the best guess scenario. Obviously, without having a contractor, I won't know until somebody's here, but.
And have you got any calls from people since our last meeting?
On Davis there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are interested parties out there, but I think until an expression of interest, we're actually modeling the expression of interest based off the Old Town Hall.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
I do.
So once we saw that, we're putting an internal working group together. The purchasing agent, Pam Vickery, the town attorney, the planning director, and the facilities director to work on that. That was close to what we did back, geez, 15 years ago now.
Yes.
And the expression of interest, I don't have a timeline on it. It's a lot more complicated than the Old South Church, so it'll take a little bit longer to do. But, it's hard to say whether people call. People call and ask about Davis there all the time. It's not necessarily somebody that wants to buy it or renovate it.
They just want to know what's
They just
going
want to know
on
what's
with
going
it.
on,
What are they calling about? Yeah, oh,
Just-
just what's going on?
What's going
They're
on, yeah.
just nosy. They just want to know what's going on, and they followed the meetings. There's a lot of people certainly that have been watching them, and so you really don't know who's really interested until you have something out on the street that they can respond to. Other than that, it's just a lot of talk.
Thank you,
All set.
Mr. Chairman. Yeah.
Any other, Councilor Cormier Ledger?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to urge the committee to approve this because as somebody that sits on this subcommittee, we really are at a standstill as we wait for the expression of interest to be crafted. There's nothing more for this group to do. So it's not that we weren't able to get the work done in time. We are just at a point that we have to let the processes that Jamie explained go a little bit longer. We'll reconvene, I believe, in either January or February to see what has come in, but we are absolutely just at a standstill at this point, and we want to finish the job that we started. So.
For sure. And I think when we put this committee together, we had a few discussions that this was an aggressive time frame, for sure. And it's proven to be just that. And we need to do this right, so I think this is the right move. So,
Take as long as you need.
yeah.
It's not
Well,
going-
I also wanted to point out, because it's important that the taxpayers understand that we do take this charge very seriously, and we understand that it's a valuable asset to the town, and we want to make sure that we're doing everything right moving forward with this piece of property and what's being done with it. And the figures of $100,000 to $150,000 a year that's hitting our budget to keep it operational, we also take very seriously. That's just for heating it and insuring it and just keeping the very low maintenance while we figure out what's going on. So we just ask everyone to give us a little more patience. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Cormier Ledger. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, the vote will come on the motion to approve Resolution 23-72. A majority votes required. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, Resolution 23-73, revised 2024 Town Council meeting schedule. Clerk will read the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's only one change to the schedule. The date change is that June 19th was replaced with June 26th. This resolution shall become effective according to the provisions of the Town of Franklin Home Rule Charter.
Move resolution 23-73.
Second.
Motion is second. Jamie?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I just want to note, you already voted on it, so you don't need to do it, but we will take Valentine's Day off of this schedule as well. We were just focused on the fact that the federal holiday that's new happened to be on a Wednesday, so I don't want to get into more Valentine's
We had
Day stuff.
already voted
We
to
already
take
voted that, so
Valentine's
when
Day
we
off.
do the final version online, we'll take Valentine's Day off.
Good, because I wore my red.
Well,
I-
I did, because it was forgotten to get it taken off when they added the day. We don't need to, no.
I can come. I told you that.
We already heard that your wife said it was okay, Bobby.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, the vote will come on the motion to approve Resolution 23-73 as amended by Councilor Jones. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 23-74, receipts reserved for appropriation transportation network companies, TNC, ride assessment, transfer, and appropriation. Clerk will read the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Resolution 23-74. It's appropriations. Receipts reserved for appropriation transportation network companies, or TNC. Right assessment, transfer, and appropriation. Total amount requested, $7,871.10. The purpose is to see if the town will vote to transfer and appropriate $7,871.10 from the receipts reserved for appropriation TNC Right Assessment Fund for the purposes of road repair. Motion be it moved and voted by the town council that the sum of $7,871.10 be transferred and appropriated from receipts reserved for appropriation TNC Right Assessment Funds for the purposes of road repairs. This resolution shall become effective according to the provisions of the Town of Franklin Home Rule Charter.
Move Resolution 23-74.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion, Jamie?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, in the infinite wisdom of the Department of Revenue, like PEG funding, now you have to separately appropriate our Lyft and Uber revenue, the whopping amount we get. But the good news is I know the DPW director's here, and he'll take the additional $7,800 we've collected over the last year and a half, which tells you how much Uber and Lyft go on in Franklin. He'll be happy to go do some, maybe some chip seal or something like that, right, Brutus? Potholes? Oh, there you go. So some potholes will get filled. So this is another one I think we can chalk up on the annual list of now we have to appropriate them separately.
Understood. Questions or comments from the council? No. Seeing none, the vote will come on the motion to approve Resolution 23-74. Again, a majority votes required. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 23-75, gift acceptance. Police Department, $5,000. Veteran Services Department, $3,145. And Senior Center, $200. Clerk will read the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. These are always one of my favorite ones to read. Resolution 23-75, acceptance of gifts for the Police Department, Veteran Services Department, and Senior Center. Whereas the Police Department, Veteran Services Department, and Senior Center have received generous donations in the total of $8,345 to be used at the discretion of each department as follows. Donation summary. Police Department, $5,000. Police gift account. Donation to be applied at the discretion of the department through the police gift account towards purchase of safety equipment and other unmet needs of the officers of the Franklin Police Department. Veteran Services Department, $3,145. Number one, Veterans Gift Fund, $1,100. Municipal Veterans Assistance Fund, $2,045. Donations to be applied at the discretion of Veteran Services Department through the Veterans Gift Fund and Municipal Veterans Assistance Fund in support of local veterans and their families. Senior Center, $200. Donations to be applied at the discretion of the Senior Center to provide services and programs to senior citizens at the Franklin community. In the Franklin community. The list of all donors is included in the 12/20/23 Town Council meeting agenda packet. Now therefore be resolved that the Town Council of the Town of Franklin, on behalf of the Police Department, Veteran Services Department, and the Senior Center, gratefully accepts these generous donations to be used at the discretion of each department for the purposes noted above. This resolution should become effective according to the provisions of the Town of Franklin Home Rule Charter.
Move Resolution 23-75.
Second.
Motion is second. Is there any discussion beyond the generosity? And I thank you for the generosity of our community that just continues to step forward and give of their funds to these different organizations and groups. Seeing no further discussion, the vote will come on the motion to approve Resolution 23-75. A majority votes required. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And our last but not least, my favorite, Resolution 23-76, cable funds in support of PEG service and programming per Mass General Law, Chapter 44, subsection 53, F3, quarters. Clerk will read the resolution.
Motion to waive the reading.
Second.
sir.
Oh, come on.
Motion and a second to waive the reading. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Move resolution 23-76.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion. Jamie?
We had to end on this one.
We had-
We had to end the calendar
After the
year.
one before.
I'm sorry for the sick joke, but it just, we were looking at the menu and we said we had to end off of this year. Calendar year 2023 with
With a PEG access.
PEG access control funding, just for everybody's amusement.
Okay. All right, seeing no further discussion, the vote will come on the motion to approve Resolution 23-76. Again, a majority vote's required. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Town Administrator's Report.
So really quickly, just a quick update on this week. Just want to thank all of the folks at National Grid, all the utility workers, all of the Franklin Police, Franklin Fire, the DPW, our custodians, staff, teachers, administrators. I think you've heard in the press, our police and fire saw in one day record-breaking amount of calls. I think there were 86 calls for service from the fire department. This is something you're seeing in a lot of communities that are putting out there. These were all record-breaking calls. We had to call in all of our personnel unannounced. The DPW guys were there late at night. The utility workers were out. I just can't go on too many things. I know that there's still a couple hundred folks in town without power, but within 24 hours, really within 48 hours, 95+% have been restored, including the schools. I know all of you support this, as do most of us or all of us. It's very when you have power, it seems like nothing else is going on in the world. When you don't have power, it's very frustrating, but I know we all stand grateful as we close out the year to all of those who are literally, well, sometimes we're safe inside. Everyone else is chopping down trees, putting their lives on the line really with live wires and a lot of other work, and I'm never-ending grateful for all of their work. As we close out the year, a couple of other quick acknowledgements, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank all of our town staff. I want to thank the town council, all of our elected officials for another incredible year. I think we're all hopefully blessed to realize that we get to live, work, and play here in Franklin, and just want to thank the entire staff. Especially too, there were some groups here, I was hoping they would maybe stay, but as Councilor Frangillo mentioned earlier, Amy and I get to see it, all of you get to see it from a high level, but as Councilor Frangillo mentioned earlier, there's no amount of thanks I think all of us could give to all the Interfaith Coalition, the Safe Coalition, the Food Pantry, Fish, all of the organizations, I know the public schools, everybody for their response to the humanitarian crisis and our folks up there at the Best Western Hotel. The reason why Franklin has been recently hailed as doing a really good job on this is because of all of those volunteers and the commitment of those organizations. Can't end the year without thanking them, and just want to thank the town council for all of their support. Wish everybody a happy holiday, a very Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. And January 3rd is around the corner where the town council will discuss the 2024-2025 work plan and goals. Get back to it, but hopefully everybody has a great holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Okay, moving on, subcommittee and ad hoc committee reports. Capital has not met, I don't believe.
No.
EDC?
No.
We can't wait.
We don't know who's on it yet.
Budget's coming. Master Plan Committee.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Yeah, we most recently met last Wednesday, December 13th. We had Bader and Barrett, which are our consultants, sit down to Zoom and discuss with us our inventory and assessment report draft that we have spent some considerable time, the committee members, going through and fine-tuning and giving feedback and comments, and the consultants have taken that information. We will be reviewing that draft document sometime early next year. We've also been discussing a survey that's available online on the town's website. People can look for it. It is a master plan survey, and it will be open and available until until January 3rd. And on January 10th is our next scheduled date for us to meet and review the results of that survey. So we are moving along at full steam, sir, and the next year's schedule will be posted shortly.
Thank you, Councilor Jones. Davis, their reuse, I don't think you, yeah. Police Station Building Committee has not met. GATRA, Councilor Frangillo?
Quickly, yeah, so we have not had a meeting since we last had a town council meeting. Our next meeting is January 17th, I believe, but we have a January meeting. I would just remind everyone that all GATRA rides are free through the end of the year. So for the next week and a half, all GATRA rides are free.
Awesome, thank you, great reminder. Okay, moving on, future agenda items. Councilor Sheridan?
Chair, through you, could we get an update about the homeless situation in Franklin?
Sure, sure, not a problem. Councilor Frangillo?
Nothing.
Councilor Hamblin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm wondering, through you to Jamie, can we look at the fees, the discount list of fees, and put it maybe on the EDC's goals,
Absolutely.
just to have a look at it, as Max said? I think it's important to do.
We have not done a full town-wide fee analysis in 8 years. That was
Yeah.
actually one of my first projects when I got here.
Yeah.
So Julie will be leading that project this year, and it's on your work plan. But
It's already there?
Yeah.
well, we'll add the community assistance program that
Yeah.
Max referenced is a part of that bylaw, so that'll all be reviewed at the
Okay,
same time.
excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Hamblin. Councilor Cormier Ledger?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I certainly don't want to put a wet blanket on all of the great comments about everyone that worked so hard during the storm, but I wonder if it's possible as a future agenda item to have a discussion, maybe National Grid or Verizon or other utility service providers could come and give us an update, tell us what the needs are, so that something like this doesn't happen again. It seems like every time we have a major weather event in town, people are without power, people are without broadband or DSL, people are without basic needs. Even if folks right now still don't have power, they've lost everything in their fridge, they've lost everything in their freezer, they don't have heat. I compliment everyone that works so hard to get everything restored, but we have a problem with our grid, we have a problem with too many trees, we need to get this public-private discussion going to figure out what's needed to get this back on track and prevent it. So I would love it if, I don't know if that's our delegation.
Well, we
you
had
know,
National Grid here for
Couple of years ago.
3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, and they talked about a tree program moving forward. So maybe we can talk to them, see if we can get an update on
They did a
what
lot
they're.
of work.
I know,
did.
They did do a lot of work, so, yeah.
But there's more.
Representative Roy is also aware of this. Him and I have
Yeah.
spoken of it. We can have them come in. I'm sure they're gonna get requests from every community.
Exactly.
Once everything's finally back fully to restoration. I know the state, I think they still have about 60,000 people without power across the state, 50,000. But we can ask them to come in, and they have come in before, and I don't think that's a tough
not
request.
unreasonable.
I don't know if it'll be soon, but it'll probably be through the winter and the spring.
When we can, okay,
Yeah, thank you.
all right. Anything else, Councilor Cormier?
No, thank you.
Councilor Chandler?
Nothing at this time.
Councilor Pellegrini?
Nothing at this time.
Councilor Jones?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just going to piggyback on Ted's comments about inviting in the electric company. I know they've worked hard, and I give everyone credit for all the hard work that they've done to get things up and running as quickly as they have. There definitely could be a better program. I think this really is going to take some community effort in reaching out to the citizens and having them do their part to kind of address the tree issues, because it's the trees that are killing us.
Yeah.
So.
Could have been the wind.
Yeah. Thank you, Councilor Jones. Councilor DeLarco?
Nothing at this time.
Okay, councilor comments. Councilor Cormier Ledger?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just, again, excuse me, wonderful list. It's great to see federal dollars being put to good use here locally. Compliment all of those charitable organizations and the work they're doing. thank you, Jamie, and the entire crew for the response during the storm. I know it wasn't easy, and I know a lot of people worked an awful lot of overtime to get everything back up and running. I want to say thank you to everybody that put on the beautiful decoration throughout town, the folks that volunteered to get the common ready, the folks that got our Hanukkah celebration was really, really nice. And just thank everybody for a great year. We can sit here and talk about this problem and that problem, but in the end, we are very lucky to live where we live. We have a beautiful town. We have a lot of very hardworking volunteers and hardworking staff, hardworking charitable organizations, hardworking businesses that come together to make this a great place. And we're very, very grateful. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and best wishes for a great new year to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Cormier Ledger. Councilor Chandler.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Ditto to everything Jamie said. He thanked everybody. That was great. I appreciate all that. I won't reiterate that. And as always, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I want to give a special thank you to everybody that watches these meetings, comes to the council chambers, just stays engaged with the town. We appreciate that. That's what we're all working hard for. And speaking of working hard, I think after take these 10 days to reinvigorate, get through the holidays, and we'll be back to work on the 1st.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Chandler. Councilor Plagree.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Those of you who have Facebook and follow along with different things, I'm not on it all the time, that's for sure, but they had some comments about people, new residents that moved into town, and they needed assistance. That one had a problem with a tree, another one had a problem with a generator. Well, the answers, the responses that they got from people was outstanding. Everybody was there, ready to help them and all. And for a new resident now to say she chose the best place to move to, she couldn't get over everybody that came forward to help her out. One of them was with a child, 2 children in wheelchairs, and needed some assistance for when they got home from school, because certainly there was no way for her for her electricity was out. And the people just got in touch with her, one after another after another. That makes me so proud to be a resident here in Franklin, because we care about each other. We don't care if they've been here forever, or if they've been here just a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever. We're here to help them. So, for that reason alone, I hope everybody saw some of those comments on Facebook. It was great. And for the decorations, Brutus, wonderful. They are just fantastic. Franklin always does things first class, and we certainly have this year too. It's great. And I think that was about it. Just Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to those, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Councilor Plagree. Councilor Sheridan.
Yeah, I was just seconding everything everybody else has said. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and 2024. It's gonna be an election year. Should be fun.
So
To say
fun.
the least. Councilor Frangillo.
Senior Center office hours tomorrow. Again, those are open to anyone. They're at the Senior Center. Tomorrow morning is the last one of the year. 8:30 to 9:30, is that the official time?
Yes.
In the morning, I'll be there. 8:30 to 9:30. Just a few, you listed off a few more of the organizations that have been helping out with the migrants, and a few others came to mind that you just weren't able to include in that, et cetera, that I want to touch upon. The other 2 programs, we talked about getting resources to the migrants, but there were 2 other things. One is after-school programming, which is being done by volunteers, and the other is English as a second language teaching. And there's a whole bunch of language courses going through the library, I believe. So the library's helping out. So I just wanted to add those to the long list of people helping. Winter's Farmers Markets are going at Fairmont Fruit Farm, so look out for those. Those are about every 2 weeks, and they're going for the next few months. That's it.
Thank you, Councilor Frangillo. Councilor Hamlin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank everyone who came out to last Saturday's Winter's Farmers Market, because the Sustainability Subcommittee of the Master Plan was there, and we got to talk about sustainability for 4 or 5 hours with everybody who walked by, and Max was there and visiting us. It was really fun, and I want to thank everybody for being there. Just to thank all the town staff, DPW, fire, police, the line people who got Franklin up and running again. After that, I'm still pumping out my basement, and all my neighbors are, and I think my neighbor that's above me, they've never had a wet basement before, and now it's wet, and they're pumping it out too. So there's a lot of fun stuff going on out there on the streets, and be careful when it gets wet, and it's really icy because it gets cold, right? And I just wanted to wish everyone a happy and safe New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Hamlin. Councilor Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Councilor Pellegrini, I've heard through a person in the know that regardless of how long I'm going to be here, I'm never going to be a Franklinite.
Right.
Yes, you're what we refer to as a tuner,
I don't care
not a
about you.
townie, but a tuner.
We don't.
But we're never going to call you a Franklinite. In all seriousness, folks, I just wanted to say, happy holidays, happy new year. 2023 had its challenges, but there was so many good things that came out of 2023. And we're moving in a good direction. I think 2024 will be just as much as a challenge, but also just as much fun. And I want to say it's been proud to work with this group. I'm glad we're all back on the council. And we have some goals to set in January. I look forward to setting those goals and making the next 2 years of our term the best it could ever be. Thank you, everybody, and happy holidays. See, look at that. That was like the short.
Not bad, Councilor Jones, not
You
bad.
repeated yourself a couple times. That's shorter.
Councilor DeLorco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to wish everyone happy holidays, and it's been great working with you guys. I just want to give a shout out to the National Grid workers and stuff. Somebody that has worked out in storms like that, which I have, it's not easy. It's very tiring, and
It's dangerous.
it's very dangerous. So you got to give them credit. And storms like that, you can cut down every tree you want. Storms like that, you're still going to lose power. It's 90-mile-an-hour winds, you're going to lose power. I don't care what anybody says, but they did a pretty good job for what they had to deal with, because they can't go up unless it's under 35 miles an hour. So they couldn't go up for 24 hours. They did a good job, so kudos to them.
Thank you, Councilor DeLorco, and I think he brings up a very good point. It's a point that not everybody may be aware of, but I know that when, you're without power, people get in their car, they start driving around looking for National Grid trucks, and then jump on social media and say, where are the National Grid people? And they need to understand that until the winds drop below 35 miles an hour, you aren't going to see anyone, because they're not allowed to go out until the winds drop below. So I think that was a great point that Councilor DeLorco brought up. Again, just to piggyback on the town's decorations, the DPW, not Brutus, but the DPW people did a magnificent job of getting those up. And it was not only, I think there was some of the high schoolers, hockey team, or some of the high school people assisted in putting up the decorations. And I'd like to just kudos out to Dean College, who stepped up their decorations, and they just mix right in with the towns, and I couldn't be prouder of how the town looks, certainly for the holiday season. And lastly, just we've had 2 great years that we've just kind of finished up.
Yeah.
We've accomplished an awful lot. This council put the goals we put forth 2 years ago, and to be able to get those to the finish line like we did, it was just magnificent. And I can't thank everybody, the council as well as the department heads, for all the work that they did in helping us achieve those goals. But it starts all over again in January, where we put a whole new set of goals together for the next 2 years. So, and it's a long
It's
list.
gonna be longer this time.
It's gonna be longer. So, thank you, everyone.
Way longer.
Happy holidays to everyone. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And with that, I enter,
Mr. Chairman, can I make one comment before we close?
no,
I would
you had
like
your
to
turn.
thank my chairman of the council for his leadership and dedication to helping guide us in the right direction.
Thank you,
Now
Councilor
you can
Jones.
say it,
Now do I
Charlie.
have to be nice to you?
There you go.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Non-debatable. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, one and all.
Okay.
They only said nice things because Joanne is here.
Yeah, I know.